Before we get into today's show, I want to ask this question. Which player is a better legend, right? You want to go with the face of the defense in the 90s or the face of the defense in the 2000s, okay? Put the jersey number for Atwater 27 if you think it's the All-Pro, two-time Super Bowl champ, Hall of Fame safety, or if you're a little more recent, kind of like me, my generation, it's Von Miller. Put 58 down below in the comments section. Really curious to see which player is going to win this vote. Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Matthew Peterson, and coming up on today's show, we've got a lot planned out for the people, a lot of things to hit on, but I want to start the show off before we get to off-season grades and Russell Wilson breaking records. I want to talk about the rookie, Greg Dulcich, probably the biggest name that's come out of the NFL Draft for the Broncos Country fan base. So Bleacher Report did an article where they picked one rookie for every team that's going to have the biggest impact. And they selected our guy with the flow, Dulcich. Now, Broncos, if you don't remember, drafted him in round 3, 80th overall, and he was the star of rookie minicamp. It's also rookie minicamp, and I myself need to take a little bit of my own medicine and dial it down a little bit here. But hey, it's football, and I just love talking about football and actually talking about players on the field. And so with Dulcich, yeah, I could see him being the biggest impact rookie when you think about this draft class. You know, Nick Bonito, he's got Chubb and Gregory above him. Okay, it's going to be tough to break through there. And then you think about other players like EU. Yeah, maybe he could get some rotation on that defensive line. But let's look at what Bleacher Report said about Dulcich. The UCLA product was deemed the best receiver in the tight end class by the Bleacher Report scouting department. He was a productive receiver at UCLA, where he spent some time split out wide as well as the traditional inline tight end alignment. He racked up 725 yards and 5 touchdowns on 42 receptions for the Bruins last season. So I should really read my own notes here, because don't get too drunk on these May, June OTA reps. Don't get me wrong. It's fun. It's important. And a lot of it can be true when it comes to actual football, like week 1, right? But also, it is just rookie minicamp, takeaways here. A lot of times, most rookie camp is like, hey, here's the playbook, bathrooms down the hall, write it down so you don't forget. That's a lot of what rookie minicamp is. Not so much of, all right, let's figure out who our starting tight end is today. Now, they're really just getting, acclimated for some to the altitude and accustomed to the organization, the franchise. But let's play a game here. How many yards for our friend Greg Dulcich this season? Over or under 562? There's a very specific reason why I picked that number. I'll tell you about it in a second, but first get your votes in. O for over, take the overs club, or U for under. With Albert Okwuegbunam on there, I'm going to go under just because he's tight end 2. That's a lot of yards for a second tight end, right? By the way, the reason why I picked 562, that's how much Noah Fant had in his rookie season. And we're almost talking about this guy. I wouldn't say the same level as Fant. That was a first-round pick we're talking about there. But there's a lot of buzz around this guy. I mean, the third-round pick is getting more notoriety than Nick Bonito, who's picked before him at 64. But still, he's got the hair. He's got the short shorts. We're excited about it. We're excited about football. All right. We're going to get to the rest of the show in just a moment, but I really want to appreciate everyone that has subscribed lately, because early this morning, I woke up and saw we crushed the sub goal. We crossed over 8,000 subscribers, but we're not stopping there. The road to 9K starts today, so hit that big red button, and who knows, you might get a shout out like Brad Earthman, who subscribed early this morning, Maddington, Christian, Jacob, Scott Lopez. We give shout-outs here at the channel. I don't know many other shows that are doing that are getting you guys on screen. So hit that big red button and subscribe. Next segment of today's show, Bleacher Report's off-season grades. So they went through all 32 NFL teams and handed out some grades, and I think let's dress this up a little bit by reminding ourselves what has transpired so far this offseason. Denver got Russell Wilson, signed Randy Gregory, DJ Jones, K'Wan Williams, and brought back Melvin Gordon. Those are probably the 5 biggest moves. Maybe you could toss in Josie Jewell instead of Gordon. But we're not gonna, yeah, you get the drift though. Those are the 5 big ones. So before we look at some other notes that Denver's done this offseason, let's show the guy that's made all this possible some love. let's put me down in the comment section if you think George Paton nailed this offseason. I remember talking about the potential of Jimmy Garoppolo. Who remembers the Kirk Cousins trade rumors? I do. Not going to happen. Doesn't matter. We got Russell Wilson. So type me if you think Paton absolutely nailed this offseason. I think he did because I would take Russell Wilson over Drew Lock, Noah Fant, and Shelby Harris. Some notable departures. Really wasn't anyone else that left in free agency that they're dying to replace. Sorry, Bobby Massey. But those are probably the three biggest guys that they lost. And sure, Fant and Harris, those are tougher losses. Locke, I would say, not so much when you get Russell Wilson in return. Now, when it came to the NFL Draft, four of the biggest names that came out of it, Benito, look who it is, the Flow, Dulcich, Damari Mathis out of Pitt, and our friend EU from Iowa State that can play all across the defensive line. So those are four of the bigger picks. We don't need to go into every single selection made. No offense to Matt Henningsen, but you get the drift now. So who was your favorite Broncos draft pick? We're going to check out what the Bleacher Report, grade book looked like, what the report card was for the Broncos. But first, who was it that you were like, this is it? This is George Paton's best pick of the draft. Next up, we're going to have that complete report card for you guys. See how Bleacher Report felt about the Broncos offseason. And then I'm going to give my very own report card. But first, listen, you don't want to be wearing a Drew Lock jersey week one. Do not be the guy at a tailgate repping an old jersey. All right? Get yourself hooked up with top-of-the-line Russell Wilson jerseys thanks to our friends over at Fanatics by going to chatsports.com/Broncos jersey. It's going to take you right over there, and boom, you're going to have yourself a wonderful brand new Broncos jersey. Do it now because you know there's tons of supply chain issues and whatnot. Don't put it off like I usually do because if you try to do it in August, you're going to end up getting the jersey in October. All right, so Bleacher Report grades. I think have you guys waited enough. Here's what they gave Denver. Free agency / trade, they kind of lumped it together. They gave him an A. In the draft, a C+. Overall, B+. Don't be too ticked off by that C+. C is average. And the Broncos' first and second round pick was Russell Wilson this year. That's how you got to look at it. But overall, just a B+. I thought that was a little low. I think the Broncos, and I think these betting odds speak for it, became one of these Super Bowl contenders this offseason. You don't become a Super Bowl contender and get a B+ for that. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't line up to me. All right, because you cannot take these three elements of the offseason and make them even. Some are more important than the others, okay? My report card, free agency / trade, I gave him an A+. I don't know if there's anything more realistically within a salary cap the Broncos could have done to make it any better. They landed a franchise quarterback, a future Hall of Famer in Russell Wilson. I agree on the draft side of things. You didn't pick until pick 64. You don't get to have a sexy draft class. It's okay, though. I'd rather have Russell Wilson. I'd rather have proven talent than wonder, oh, boy, I hope Malik Willis is good. No, that's not us today, all right? Overall, A-. Now, like I said, you don't take, what is it, right here? Yeah, these three pillars, boom, 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 and make them all equal. I think the trade outvalues the draft. I think you've seen teams like the Rams, for example, who say F them picks and trade everything away to get proven talent, and it worked. Denver's following a similar blueprint now. So I give it an A-, but I'll let you guys join in on the fun. What grade would you give the Broncos this offseason? You want to join me in the A club? You want to be a little pessimistic and somehow slide closer to B or C? I don't know. Let me know what you're feeling down below. Final segment of today's show. We're going to talk about QB3, Russell Wilson, that is breaking records. Well, an interesting article came out from CBS that Russell Wilson is on pace, I guess we'll say, or could be the youngest quarterback to beat all 32 teams, the 32-team club, as they call it. And that's a pretty cool accomplishment right there. Now, of course, there's some stipulations. You have to play for two different teams to beat all 32 teams. Now, the way that Denver or Russell Wilson can achieve that is week one, beating his old team, the Seattle Seahawks. He has beaten every other NFC team, okay? There's only one other AFC team, though. He has not defeated. Of course, he doesn't play the AFC all that often, once every 4 years, and that's the Chargers, who Denver plays Monday night, week 6. So if he misses that go-around, he's got another shot at them later in the year. But 2 wins in the first third of the season, and boom, he is the youngest person to ever beat all 32 NFL teams and join a club with Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, and Brett Favre, who all did it much later in their career, okay? And of course, they didn't move on from their team as early as Russell Wilson did. So this isn't like he's going to be better than those guys for doing so earlier in his career. Just made a change earlier, all right? Here's some trivia, though. There are 2 other quarterbacks who have beaten every other team. There just weren't 32 teams in the league when they accomplished that. So they're in the 28-team club. Let you guys think about that. Let me know your answers down in the comment section. And while you're down there, predict the Broncos 2022 record. I like asking this question because I just love seeing someone. I'm waiting for someone to say 17-0. Someone's got to be that guy. So be the person that just shoots, swings for the fences and says 17-0 down below in the comment section. And by the way, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We're going to be putting out daily content throughout the dog days of the offseason. I don't know many other YouTube accounts out there that are keeping you guys informed through the months of May, June, and July. When things are low, we don't take our foot off the gas. Hit that big red button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later with more Broncos news and rumors.